And we're back. We're episode 24 of It's Not That Deep, Bro.
You know
just
it.
seen Zodiac.
Zodiac, David Fincher. What year did that movie come out? That's
2007.
2007.
Yeah. Recent for the films we've watched.
Compared to some of the films that we've watched.
Yeah.
First of all, how you doing, Martin?
I'm great.
You great.
Never better.
You've been to the doctors today. Had a blood test.
I did.
That'd terrify me. You know?
It's quick. Quick and easy.
Quick and easy.
Yeah. Took less than 2 minutes.
You're a braver man than I.
I didn't even feel the needle.
Just a quick prick.
Yeah. I looked at it the whole time. Nothing.
Wow. You were a real trooper.
I don't know. I'm just not afraid of needles. And that's okay.
Unlike me, who may have a small...
phobia.
I think it's a rational thing to be scared of, but I suppose people rationalise their fears, don't they?
I mean, depending on in what sense you're talking about it. Because if it's like somebody trying to kill you with a needle, fair enough for you to be scared.
No, it's not kill. It's just not a nice thing to be opposed upon oneself, is it?
What do you mean?
Oh, we're just going to go see this person you've never met that's going to stick a needle in your arm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't be like, yeah, sure.
To test for disease.
I guess
if it was something like hostile, then yeah, of course. Yeah.
If death is on the table, I understand there's no hostility to the
But
operation.
like, there's not going to be any death on the table if you're going to get a blood test.
No, just a lot of unpleasantness, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just the way you feel when you feel that needle in your arm.
But maybe next time I come across that, I can channel a bit of Martin DeVerge.
Maybe. Just don't think about it. If you don't want to look at it, just look at the person and just talk to them.
Maybe you'll need to be there and counsel me through it.
Oh, okay. So like, I just talk you through it. Right?
Or just talk about stuff that isn't the needle, you know, distract me.
Right. Yeah, I could do that. Now,
we'll take that hurdle when we come to it.
That's right.
Meanwhile, we have just finished watching David Fincher's 2007 American mystery sensation, Zodiac. What did you think of that film, Ryan?
First of all, it's long.
That was a long film.
You have to put in the time.
It was 157 minutes.
157 minutes.
157 minutes.
So 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long film.
Yeah.
But I feel like the length and pacing of that film were in line with the protagonist's journey.
Who do you think the protagonist is?
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah.
And it was something I was thinking about. So this film talks about a series of killings that happened in the late 1960s into the 1970s. And each murder had a series of codes or ciphers, clues that were left behind that kind of tied each of these murders together. And the murderer called himself the Zodiac. And many different factions around California and the West Coast are trying to solve this mystery. And that is kind of the story. That's what you're presented with at the beginning. And as Martin says, who do you think the protagonist is? It's kind of ambiguous. There's a lot of different factions looking at this case. Each different jurisdiction of where each murder happened has its own local district sheriff, police office.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of overlap with each case falling into a different jurisdiction and each one of those jurisdictions holding their information close to their chest.
To see who can solve this murder.
Because everyone wants to solve the murder for one reason or another. And that is kind of one of the main themes of the film, I'd say. The motivations of each of the factions involved and why they want to solve the murder. But there is one faction that wants to solve this murder for possibly, you know, the purest of all reasons, simply because he wants to find out who the murderer is.
Yeah.
Not for any sort of financial gain or fame or anything like that. And that's Jake Gyllenhaal's character, Robert Graysmith. And he is the cartoonist at the local newspaper, the Chronicle.
The Chronicle, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just
seen a lot of
where is the Chronicle?
Marvel characters.
It's the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a lot of Marvel characters in this film.
Which caught me off guard a little bit.
Not characters, actors.
Yeah, actors, yeah. Sorry, not characters, yeah.
But the only reason that those actors are in Marvel films is because they're recognizable faces.
Yeah.
They were all established actors, you know. Before
I'm sure, like, when this film first came out, they weren't like, oh, these are like Marvel characters. I don't think they were.
No, but Robert Downey Jr.
Actors.
Robert Downey Jr. was an established name.
Well, by this film?
Pre-Marvel.
Yeah. Because he went through a lot of
alcoholism and drug problems and whatnot.
Drug use.
Which is reflected in his character in Zodiac. He plays a journalist for the San Francisco Chronicle who writes articles on the Zodiac killings, and he kind of has a back and forth with Jake Gyllenhaal's character, who is the cartoonist, and he is really interested in the case and is kind of I think he's the protagonist. To answer your question that you asked me a while ago, I think Robert Graysmith is the protagonist, but it doesn't emerge really that he's the protagonist until at least maybe halfway through the film.
Nah, it's way more than that. Because I feel like halfway through, it's more like you see that the cop, David
Tusky.
Tusky. Yeah, David Tusky, the lead detective on the case of the killings. You see him a lot throughout the film, and you think, this guy is gonna be the
main character.
The main character, but in the end, it's obviously Robert Graysmith.
Yeah, because he it's really the main character of the film is the case.
Yeah,
because it is just moving from which character is the most on the pulse of the case. So Dave, not Toshi, Tosky. Dave Tosky was, you know, the forerunner and had the most information at one point in the film, but he falls off. He can't do it anymore, and he says, you know, this is I
think that has to do with the fact that he lost his partner halfway through the film. Like he just like his partner has given up, and he's also given up.
What was his name? Bill? Or Bob?
No, it's Bill.
It was Bill.
What was his last name?
Was it Jim? Jim
69, right? Christmas 1969. And from there it goes, 25 years? Maybe even 30?
So it ends in Graysmith tracks the Zodiac down in 1983, and then it goes all the way to 1991 when that last scene is.
Mm-hmm. So it's like what?
So that's like
22 years?
Something like that, yeah. It's a long passage of time, and that's why I say that the case is the main character of the film, because it's all the different people that have tried to crack the case. And Robert Graysmith, basically,
he does it. I feel like he's done it because he wants to like solve the puzzle. He loves puzzles. Like he says that at the start of the film that he loves puzzles.
Well, he just can't.
He can't let it go.
He can't let it be unresolved. He needs that completion. You know, that
closure.
Yeah, which is almost, you know, you see his life fall apart. He loses his wife and his kids, and he starts.
Throughout the whole film, every character loses the plot.
They all lose their mind.
All of them.
And this film is really long, but I think that serves how you would feel if you're in that situation. Because there's a point where he says, I don't know what's real anymore. And we paused this film midway through to have something to eat, and we couldn't believe that we were only halfway through. It felt like a couple of hours.
Yeah. But like the film just seems, it doesn't drag, but like it explains everything within that like first hour and a half. And I'm thinking, I'm definitely like at least three or more quarters of the way to
the first hour. You're just getting an introduction of all the people involved.
Yeah.
Basically, and seeing a few of the cases happen. The actual murders, like the first hour or so covers a lot of the actual murders, whereas I'd say the second half of the film is a lot more people talking and going back and forward on evidence and stuff like that. There's some real tense moments in the film. Real tense.
Like
that dude who the projectionist, for the cinema.
Rick Marshall.
Yeah, Rick Marshall.
Or no. The one that in the house.
Yeah, the one in the house. That wasn't Rick Marshall. Bob Vaughn.
Yeah, Bob Vaughn.
Scary guy.
A very scary guy.
That didn't look positive.
No, it didn't. I
thought a cult thing was where there'd be like more than one murderer. I thought that was gonna be the deal.
I think he knew.
He had to. Either that or he was just a sick man.
Yeah.
What's he doing, being all creepy like that?
I knew that when they were in the house, I just felt like this eerie. There's somebody in the house dead. There's gotta be somebody dead in the house. Either that or kidnapped someone.
There were some quite clever bits in the film. It shows you one of the murders at one point, and
you didn't like that, did you? Not one bit.
Which bit?
The couple murdered in
the couple one was brutal, just because it was the mentality behind the murderer and the way that he was doing things. He was like, you could see that he was like so interested in the art of murdering people that he would like. So there's a couple near a lake, and he initially asks for their keys. He points a gun at them and says, "Give me your keys and your money,
your wallet."
Yeah, your wallet. And then he gets them to tie each other up, and he's pointing a gun at them the whole time. And you're focused on the gun, but he ends up stabbing them multiple times. And it's just this bait and switch, and it's awful. It's like a sick joke.
Yeah, it is. He's a sick individual.
And
sick
then
individual.
The other one that I was smart at, possibly the next one, where a lady's driving a car with her baby, and the killer pulls up behind her and says, "You've got a loose right tire. Can I tighten it up for you?"
Yep.
And then what he's actually doing is loosening the tire and completely making it so when she pulls off, the tire falls off, and then she's got no way of escaping. Again, it's like a sick game, but that's clever. He's thought about it.
Because
that's his game.
Yeah, that is the most dangerous game.
The most dangerous game, which is a book and a film that that features in this film that the killer was highly inspired by, which is about a man who makes a game out of hunting humans. And
he waits for people to be what is the word? They crash on his island. He has an island, and he waits for people to like crash or be stranded there.
Yeah.
So he then hunts them down for
because humans are the most dangerous animal.
That's right.
And that is one of the lines that's in the in a lot of the codes and ciphers that the Zodiac leaves throughout the film. I enjoyed this film, I'll say. I thought it was good.
I mean, we haven't watched an actual murder mystery.
Chinatown.
In a while, basically.
Yeah. That's not even like really a murder mystery.
No.
It's more of just a mystery.
Yeah. But this was good. I enjoyed
it.
I enjoyed it.
The ending was like ultimately disappointing, but the case was disappointing. That's how it played out in reality.
Yeah.
So you can't like be angry at the film for that sort of thing, for him dying and it never having that
climax.
That final moment of him being arrested.
Yeah.
Even though he was arrested for molesting children multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. Just...
So it's a real dark story, to be fair. And I think Zodiac and David Fincher do a really good job of showing how a case like that and a man just playing a game can drive people insane. And that's a game in itself.
What made me like think like, what the fuck? Like, it was the fact that he got caught for like molesting kids, but then killing so many people. He was like, nah, no one can catch him if he's just killing, but if he's molesting kids, all of a sudden they can. Or was that just like a plot? So then nobody could say, oh, it was him, because.
You wonder how he kept getting released after molesting kids?
No. I wondered how he kept getting caught for like molesting kids, but then not getting caught for killing people. Do you know what I mean? Like, he killed so many people, and they didn't get caught.
They said he was a teacher.
Yeah, but he
was meticulous about his killing.
Yeah, but he got caught molesting kids after they interviewed him.
Yeah.
So then, after they interviewed him, and then people were like, no, it's not the killer, all of a sudden, he gets put in jail, and then
that's in 74 that he gets put in jail.
74, yeah.
But doesn't he get put, isn't he arrested for molestation in the 60s as well, before the first murder?
No.
I'm sure.
That was the first time. But he did...
Because there's that guy that he worked with as a teacher that he told everything to, word for word.
Yeah.
And he knew him pre the first murder, because why would he be telling him that after the...
Allegations of molesting kids, that's why he had to quit the school.
Was he not arrested then for it? So it was just allegations. He was arrested for it in 74.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about how that... I guess that's just... He does make slip-ups. Like, that's how Gyllenhaal's character ends up knowing that it's him. For example, he rings up a man, and he's not there, but he gets the housemaid. It kind of makes a mockery of how bureaucracy and paperwork and all of that gets in the way of people solving a crime. Because there's a point when they interview the man who pretty much is confirmed to be the Zodiac killer, and he's one of the prime suspects at one point. And they look at his watch, and it has the logo on
That's
it.
Lee.
Yeah.
That's the guy that got caught.
Yeah, but they interview him so long ago that if people were more organised, he could have been arrested then.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about the film, is that it's a it's a conversation about how these matters are handled and how it can break one person. If one person just tries to put all the pieces together, it can drive them insane. But if people just communicated a bit more and there was less bureaucracy surrounding the way that information gets handled, and there's a certain pride about districts and pulling rank and jurisdiction and all that, that deters from the completion of the case, which seems completely, in opposite to what they're trying to achieve, i.e. solving the case.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also the time that this was like done. Now you can certainly see how cases in the 60s up till the 90s were handled. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of like back and forth.
Well, there's that bit where they're talking about not having. He's like, well, you're going to have to get permission when he's going. One of the detectives is going around to all the individual places where the murders have happened, and he has to speak to the head of each police chief.
Yeah.
In each county that he goes to, and he speaks to one of them, and they've not got a fax machine. So everything has to be mailed to it.
Yeah.
So that would take like so much time.
So much more time, yeah.
To get evidence back and forth and stuff like that. And the way that they're being so cagey, well, I'll give you this bit of information if you give us your information on the case and stuff like that. It's so silly because it's completely...
If everyone were just honest with each other, then the case would have been solved way quicker.
It's completely at odds with the thing that they're all trying to achieve individually. And then you've got, Gyllenhaal's character taking it all on by himself, and it turns him into a shell of a man sort of thing. So
much so that his wife leaves. I mean, second wife, because he was divorced before.
Yeah, that's true, because he's got the kids.
Yeah, he had the kids before that anyway, and then got divorced. Met this new woman.
It's a crazy life, because you see in that last scene that he finishes the book.
He does, yeah.
And it's like a bestseller. Like it's on sale at the airport. So, you might... It's quite ambiguous. Did he lead a good life? Was it worth it? Lost his kids, but he's got kids. Lost his wife.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he may potentially damaged the relationship with his children by not seeing them for
a long
extended periods of time. Lost his wife, but he did release the book and do what he wanted to do. So it's swings and roundabouts, really, isn't it?
What would you have done? Put yourself in...
My instinct, my gut, I would have finished the book, Martin. I would have wanted to solve the case. But it's a real shame that he couldn't... Again, there's a failure of communication on his part. He meets his wife on... The first date they ever have is completely centric around the case. And she's kind of... enchanted with the mystery of the whole thing, and she's swept up in the vibe of it all. And she says at one point it's like the first date never ended, sort of thing. He could have. He's even got his. It's difficult because he does like try. At one point he has his kids, putting stuff together for him on the case and whatnot. He's trying to like incorporate his family into it. It's kind of like Close Encounters. Where the guy sees the UFOs and then he can't stop thinking about the mountain and he loses his whole family because he's just obsessed with this one thing. And I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Becoming obsessed with one thing.
But not sharing it. That's like... I mean, his wife didn't want him to do it at all. So it was sort of like...
Well, that's why it's difficult.
Yeah.
No, it is a very difficult situation to kind of navigate, and my gut is like, finish the book, crack the case.
I don't know. I don't think I would have done that, because...
He definitely got himself in some stupid situations.
He definitely did. I mean...
And he was being reckless.
If it was to solve the case, I probably would have tried to solve the case as well, but finishing the book would have been like the last thing on my mind, because I would have been trying. I would have, like you said, I would have
finish the book. I understand the position that he got himself into, because the book is like on paper what he's like doing, but really he's like solving the case, because you can't finish the book if you don't solve the case, sort of thing. So it's like a rabbit hole within a rabbit hole that he's got himself quite a few layers down. He's gone.
I think I would have tried to like save my marriage to a point where I'm like, look, we've got to talk about this. Because a lot of the time he's like, he doesn't want to talk about it.
No, she was like well compromising though. Like she says to him, your kids miss you, finish what you've got to do, sort of thing.
Yeah, and then get back to them.
That was very amicable in the sense that, she was able to put aside the disappointment and anger and frustration that she probably felt about their relationship falling apart. She put all that aside and said, just your kids want to see you finish this.
I feel like if they would have worked it out after he finished it, he would have changed a lot. He would have not...
After the case
was not
over.
Be so obsessed with a case because he doesn't know about it. He's not a cartoonist anymore, so he's not going to hear about any other cases.
It's not... Yeah, I was going to say, it's not like... I don't think that's something that you've got inside you. That's not... the case, you know what I mean? That case was circumstantial. I don't think he'd get into another case like that.
No, not at all.
That was something that he had to get out of him.
Yeah.
To do with puzzles and to do with.
Would you like supporting that though?
He knew so much about it circumstantially.
Yeah.
And that's what the first like hour of the film is, and that's why he isn't the main character, because it's filling you in on what he knows. He can't become the main character, you know, like the main focus of the film until you're aware of everything that he's kind of been witnessing.
That would have been like, I know you were sort of putting your family at risk, but at the same time, would you like support? Because
What do you mean support him?
Like his partner, his wife. If she would have supported him in like, as in, to finish this case.
Oh yeah, I would have.
Would you have tried?
Yeah, I would have been if I was in a relationship with somebody that was deeply into a case. I'd definitely go down the route of like trying to get involved in it and help and whatnot. Mm-hmm. More than instantly resent the idea just because they're obsessed with something.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to, like, you know, if you're into this person, then you might be obsessed with the thing as well. It might be interesting sort of thing. And there's probably reasons why they're not sharing it with you, you know, stupid reasons, like insecurities and stuff like that. When you get so deep into something, you become insecure to talk about it because you know you're so deep in. And you're like, oh shit, like I'm like down the rabbit hole here. Like, how can I like look up and talk to the people around the hole? Like that.
I love it. I love talking about it. Like if somebody asked me about it, I would just most likely just give you everything I know about the situation.
Yeah.
Like games.
I try to be conscious of not just putting a word dump on people.
I mean...
But then at the same time, that's like trying to manage what people know about a thing. It's hard to come up with like summaries on things that are complicated.
Yeah, but it also depends on the person or how the person's asking this question.
Very true.
Do you know what I mean? Like if this person wants to know this information, they will...
carry on asking questions.
Yeah, they'll carry on asking questions and they'll like keep hearing you out to a point where you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to dump everything on them, see what happens. And as soon as you do it, if they're like, well, I've got more questions, then you can answer them.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes there is more questions, but then other times they're like, the weather's nice. And you're like, oh, okay.
Then that's where you end it.
Oh, yeah, I know that's where I end it, but that's also like a...
You don't carry on after that like...
No.
Weather's nice. Fuck that. Let me just talk about this again. So did you know that in 1965...
Well, don't ask about the geopolitical climate of 1945 if you don't want to hear the full situation. You know what I mean? You can't ask questions like that. And then...
That's right. That's why I love giving that information. Like if somebody's like asking me straight up, but then you said that you wouldn't just dump everything on them because...
No, I tried to come up with a way to talk about my interests in a more summary sort of way, you know.
So that's been our life lessons.
Yeah, I would say I'm just trying to come up with some closing thoughts on how I thought about it. It kind of left me like, oh, that's how I feel. Like, oh, God. Because it was like never really solved. It's kind of...
Yeah, because
it's making me OCD.
Was this based on a true story?
Yeah.
I thought... I had a feeling. Because why would they have shown...
all that stuff at the end with the
all
writing.
that stuff at the end,
and they could have made it a lot more dramatic and satisfying if it were. That's why I'm not angry at it, because I know that it's like real.
Right,
If a film just did that and ended like that with text, I'd be so angry.
Oh, same. That's why I was like, why is it ending like this? Is it based on a true...
I'd be incredibly angry. But the fact that that's how that transpired in real life, it's kind of spooky. It's the whole thing is very unsatisfying and unorganized.
Maybe Robert Graysmith is still alive.
It said what happened to Robert Graysmith. Let's have a look.
Yeah, he says that he lived a wonderful life with his kids.
He is still alive.
Is he?
Yeah. That's all I can really say, because there is literally not much information about the man on
How old is he?
his
now?
Wikipedia. But
How old is he?
he is 78.
I'd love to talk to him about it.
You want to talk to Robert Graysmith?
Yeah.
I imagine he's quite difficult to get an appointment with these days.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I would love to talk to him about this whole situation.
He wrote 5 books on high crime profiles, and one of them became the basis for a film called Autofocus. We can watch that film. Boom.
Cool.
We can, later on be like, this is a tie-in to the Zodiac podcast, episode 24. Today we're watching Autofocus based on the book by Robert Graysmith.
And don't you forget it.
You can get excited for that.
I am already excited, bro.
Coming to a podcast provider near you.
Near you.
This summer. So yeah, that is how we thought. Just quickly before we end, this film was directed by David Fincher, who, if I just get his filmography up, I can tell you he made Fight Club. Have you seen Fight Club? Oh man, it's a bit like
No, I have not.
It's a bit popular and a bit, overplayed, a bit normy, some people might say, but it's a great film, I think.
Why are you talking about Fight Club? You're not supposed to talk about Fight Club. That's the first rule.
Whoa, so you know that about
I know that about Fight Club, obviously.
He made Seven.
7, yeah.
You've seen that?
I've seen that.
That's a great film in my opinion. He
It's a very
made
good film.
Gone Girl. He made The Social Network, The Curious Case
The
of...
Social Network?
Yeah,
The Facebook thing?
yeah.
Nice.
He made The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
I've seen that.
He made the 3rd Alien film.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he
This
made
guy...
a film called Mank that's on Netflix that is on my list to be watching. To be fair, all of those films were on my list to be watching.
Mank.
Yeah, Mank. And I think it's set in like the 30s.
Set in the 30s, but when did it come
It's
out?
set in the 40s. It came out last year.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's about...
So what films did you look in there? Because I've... 7?
So I'm just going to list his whole filmography because he's not got many films. Alien 3,
Yeah.
7,
Yeah.
The Game,
Yeah.
Fight Club, Panic Room, Zodiac, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The Social Network, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, and Mank.
I've seen 70% of them films.
Wow. You've seen a lot of David Fincher's
Yeah, I have.
work already.
Yeah.
See, I've only seen Fight Club, 7, Zodiac, and I have seen Benjamin Button, but it was when it came out a long time ago.
Let me look.
So, I mean, I like the atmosphere that he manages to generate, specifically across 7, Fight Club, and then this film had it too.
I would like to see The Game and Fight Club. What's The Game?
I don't know. I've not seen The Social Network, to be fair, and that's meant to be really good.
I've not seen that either.
That's the Facebook one.
Yeah, I know.
The Game is the story of a wealthy investment banker who is given a mysterious gift by his brother. Participation in a game that integrates in strange ways with his everyday life. As the lines between the banker's real life and the game become more uncertain, hints of a large conspiracy become apparent. That does sound sick.
That does sound pretty sick.
Maybe David Fincher's our man.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe as we watch more and more of his films, we'll find out we like all of them. I like everything I've seen so far.
Yeah, I want to see Fight Club.
We can do Fight Club at some point because
Is it on here? On Netflix? Let's check.
It's a very popular film, and I know it has been on Netflix at one time or another. If it's not on Netflix, it's gotta be on Prime,
It's gotta be on Prime.
If none of the major streaming services have Fight Club, then what is happening, people?
You're not wrong.
This is not the website that I am looking for.
What are you looking for, bro?
I'm looking for Amazon.
Amazon Prime, bro.
It's got Brad Pitt and Edward Norton in it.
What, Fight Club?
Yeah. But it is on Prime.
It is on Prime.
I've seen it many a time, but it is like, you know, this would be like classic It's Not That Deep content.
Fantastic. I can't wait for it. It's a fucking 4.5.
It's a good film. So we should wrap this one up, though.
Mm-hmm. So we just...
Any closing thoughts, Martin?
Good film. Highly recommend the watch. Also, maybe have some food while you watch it. That's about it. What about you?
I want to tell everyone to keep it real.
Keep it real. Right. Okay.
In these strange times that we're living in.
Yeah. I thought you had closing thoughts about the film, not...
No, I'm waxing lyrical.
Sound. That is sound.
I'm waning.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's perfect.
Thank you very much for listening. I would highly appreciate you clicking the subscribe and the follow buttons on all of the appropriate social media outlets for where you see the letters MIPLTD.
Please.
That would put me forever in your debt.
True that.
And until next time.
It's been the MIP boys. It's not that deep, bro. Goodbye.
Chalupa.
Shut up. Just shut up with your bullshit. I'm sick of it. Real sick of this information that you're giving people. Like, what the fuck is Jalupa?
You could be the right person just at the wrong time. I could see us maybe working 2 years either side. My voice shakes, my heart thanks me for it. I hate change. I'm always running from it. I'm getting tired of trying to hide it away when there's no good news, just uncomfortable truths. And I guess I gotta make it clear just before you disappear. You could be the right person just at the wrong time. I can see us maybe working 2 years either side. Let's talk a while. Our hearts are in it, but they don't align. Right person, wrong time. Right person, wrong time. My heart aches, try not to think about you. It gets late. Like I always do. Sat on your birthday listening to the cards as you reached out your arms. It was just what I needed. And there's something that you need to hear just before I disappear. You could be the right person just at the wrong time. I can see us maybe working 2 years either side. Just at the wrong time.